On the one hand, eggs have been credited with being good for you, reducing your risk of having a stroke and helping you have a healthy heart. But even leaving aside the salmonella issue, the media has found plenty of other reasons to have a crack at our oval friends. With a crop of recent stories claiming that eating too many eggs can increase your risk of serious conditions like heart disease and even cause death. It's enough to scramble your thinking and makes me wonder whether we should be steering clear of them altogether. Someone who's in no doubt eggs are great for us is Sarah Statham from Windsor. She has been rescuing hens for the last 10 years. And as a result has a steady supply of fresh eggs on hand to keep her going.
Hello, girls. Have we all laid eggs this morning, ladies?
Sarah currently eats about 3 eggs a week. So does she ever pay attention to some of those worrying headlines?
So, I've got some headlines here. Eating more than 1 egg a day raises your risk of heart attack or stroke, study claims. What do you think about that?
I think it's one of those headlines that it could be true. I mean, I think depends on how you're cooking them. If you're going to have a fried egg every day, then yeah, you probably will raise your risk of heart attack or stroke. But to be honest, I think it's probably just scaremongering, to be honest.
So you're very much of the mindset that it's how you cook your eggs.
Exactly.
Instead of the actual egg itself.
Yes.
On the other hand, what does she make of the headlines saying almost completely the opposite?
Now we've got a completely contradictory headline. Eating eggs does not increase heart attack risks. I mean, it's no wonder we're confused, is it?
It's very confusing. I mean, you've got 2 different headlines there that are telling you 2 different things.
In both these reports, the criticism of eggs is put down to the fact they contain a high level of cholesterol compared to many other foods. An average size egg has around 200 milligrams of cholesterol. That's 2/3 of your recommended daily intake of 300 milligrams. Cholesterol is a type of fat found in our blood, and we all have good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. The worry is that eggs can add to our bad cholesterol, blocking our blood vessels and leading to serious health problems, making you much more likely to have a stroke or develop heart disease. As a result, headlines like these declaring eggs as the enemy of good health are fairly frequent. But, as dietitian Priya Tew says, articles like this one, based on a study of 30,000 American adults and highlighting a significant increase in the risk of heart disease for those eating more than 1 egg a day, should be met with a degree of scepticism.
This headline about eating more than 1 egg a day raising the risk of heart disease or stroke, I think has been blown out of proportion. When we look at the study it's come from, it's an observational study. So lots of things have not been accounted for. It's not being carefully controlled. Factors such as physical activity, pre-existing heart conditions have not been looked at. This study was also an American study, and we know that diet as a whole can be quite different between the US population and the UK population, so we can't really take this statement as truth.
And Priya has a similar take on this headline. Again, based on 6 observational studies from the United States that followed over 29,500 people over 17.5 years.
I think this is a case of the headlines being sensationalist. We know that eggs can increase the cholesterol level slightly, but we also know, looking at the wealth of evidence we have, that there is not a risk between eggs and heart disease. There's far more to it, and eating a balanced diet that is low in saturated fat, being physically active and looking after your health is going to do more for your risk factors for heart disease.
So Priya is doubtful that even eating 3 eggs a day raises your cholesterol to harmful levels. And to see if she's right, we have set Sarah a bit of a challenge.
Okay, so I've lined up a little experiment for you. It's right up your street.
Okay.
So we want you to eat 2 eggs a day for 7 days. We're going to test your cholesterol levels today before you start,
Yeah.
to get the base level. then we're going to retest them at the end of the 7 days after you've consumed 14 eggs.
Okay.
You ready, Sarah? Mm-hmm. It's going to be like just a little finger prick.
A blood test shows Sarah's total cholesterol is 4.69 millimoles per litre of blood before she takes on the challenge. According to the NHS, a score of 5 or less is a healthy amount. But she has more good news. Her good cholesterol, known as HDL, the stuff that clears the bad cholesterol out of the body, measures 1.45 millimoles per litre. The higher this number, the better, and anything over 1.2 is considered very good. Sarah's measurements indicate she's in good nick and at much lower risk of heart attack or stroke. During the next 7 days, Sarah can cook her 2 eggs a day any way she chooses. Priya is convinced that the increase in eggs will make no difference to Sarah's cholesterol, and we will be back in 7 days to find out whether she's correct. In the meantime, Priya says that by concentrating on the cholesterol content of eggs, it's easy to forget about the other benefits of them. Eggs are packed with plenty of other essential vitamins and minerals.
So let's talk about what's in an egg. Shells off now. The white part is mainly made up of protein and water, and it does the job of protecting the yolk inside. So now it's cut open, you can see that lovely yellow yolk. That's where the nutritional powerhouse of the egg is. We've got 6 grams of protein.
6 grams of protein in an average sized egg is just under 10% of your recommended daily intake. Protein's important because it helps your body build and repair tissue. What's more, unlike some other foods that are high in protein, red meat for example, eggs are relatively low in saturated fat. For example, a medium-sized egg contains just over 3 grams of saturated fat, roughly 12% of your recommended daily intake. As a result, Priya says that the slightly higher levels of cholesterol found in eggs is outweighed by these benefits.
If you were to compare an egg to red meat as an example, the red meat would contain the cholesterol but also higher levels of saturated fat. So eggs are definitely something that you can eat on a daily basis because we know saturated fat is far more important to be thinking about in our diet than the cholesterol.
But despite these plus points, Priya says eggs aren't the magic bullet some headlines claim. Like this one that states eggs can help combat strokes.
This was a study conducted on more than 300,000 adults, so it's a lot of data, which is great. The study done in the US again, rather than in the UK, so we have some differences in diet there. But I think this study, what it does is it really reinforces the science and the evidence that we have that says eating eggs in moderation is safe for us and could potentially even be beneficial in terms of our heart disease risk. However, we can't necessarily say it's going to reduce your risk of stroke by 12% exactly, but we can say that eggs are safe and are nutritious and a good choice of food to be having.
So, with some of those myths laid to rest, time to see how Sarah got on with her special food, truth or scare diet of 2 eggs a day. We wanted to know whether increasing her egg consumption would, as some headlines suggest, increase her bad cholesterol, the fatty substance in your blood behind a string of nasty health conditions such as heart disease and stroke. When Sarah was tested a week ago, she was eating around 3 eggs a week, and her total cholesterol level was 4.69 millimoles per litre of blood, a healthy level. Having upped her egg intake from 3 to 14 eggs a week, she has been retested, and the result is impressive. Despite more than quadrupling her egg intake, her total cholesterol level has actually dropped to 4.54. What's more, the amount of good cholesterol, the stuff that helps clear out the bad cholesterol in her arteries, has increased slightly from 1.45 to 1.52.
And I'm really pleased that the eggs have been proven to be healthy. I think you need to have a good diet, basically. Everything in moderation, not too many fats and bad foods.
Now, it's important to note there could have been other factors that helped reduce Sarah's cholesterol over the 7 days.